Hi, YouTube. No more gifs. No, it's too distracting. I mean, I can add one. You know what? Let's add one. We need at least one dancing Daniel. I mean, what if Jobava comes in and there's no dancing Daniel? He'll be so sad. Okay, so I am currently not an expert anymore. I am a 1900 player. Had a bit of a rough weekend, but I haven't finished analyzing those games yet. So those are to come. This one I played last night at the Denver Chess Club. You know, this game was so bad at a certain point that Josh was trying to defend my position for like half an hour, and by the end of it he was so mad he didn't want to look at the rest of the game, and he was like, I hate your stupid fucking pieces, get this out of my face, never looking at this again. So yeah, okay, so my opponent played 1e4, and I decided to play e5 because, you know, why is that? Oh, I have two studies open. Because I don't know, he plays like close Sicilian type garbage, so I thought this would be more fun. So he goes for Scotch, which Daniel plays. And the only thing I've prepared against this is what Daniel plays, because he's the only person I know who actually plays this. And in our over-the-board match that we played on Twitch was a Scotch. That was an interesting game. I don't know if anyone remembers that. So I knew theory up to here. Okay, so Daniel plays c4 here, and I know that line decently well. But there's this other move. It's like also almost equally, or not equally common. It's not nearly as common, but it's like next, dog barking, next in line here. Okay, so h4, and I've only looked at the quick starter for this particular book I was using, and in the quick starter it says h4, queen e6. The comment is with a bar fight ahead and no other information given, and that should like give me a clue that maybe I should look this up and figure, know how to play against it, because it's really, really sharp. But I never did, because I was like, Daniel doesn't play this. I have time to do it some other time, never got done. So I'm out of book here, and we have this fucking crazy position. So he goes g3, and this is not an easy to play position at all if you don't know what you're doing. The point of queen e6 was to step out of this shit. But now g3, in my head, I don't know any theory here, but it is, I feel like, showing the intention to maybe kick my queen around. I have some problems. My king is in the center. Neither of my bishops are developed, and it's not clear where I want them to develop. I want to break in the center at some point, and that's about it. I mean, he's not developed either, but I would say that it's probably going to be a lot easier for him. So I had to, let me get my score sheet here so we can see how much time I actually spent. Because I think that that's pretty valuable, actually. Pretty valuable information. I think I spent like 4 or 5 minutes here. So in the line with c4, I play bishop a6 here, and it gets, I don't know, my game with Daniel, I ended up playing knight b4 at some point, I think, and there were problems, like slight problems with my bishop being in my knight's way, and my pawn being in my bishop's way, and my knight being in my other bishop's way as well, and it ended up being okay. But, okay, right now, I'm not sure what the right move would be. Sorry. d6 right away is probably what I should do. In the master database here, d6 is the most played. Although, my move that I came up with over the board was played twice by Kramnik. So, it can't be that bad of a move. That's all I have to say. So, I decided to play knight b4. And my reasoning was, I'm giving my queen a square in case of bishop h3. So, I'm kind of preventing bishop h3. And now maybe d5 is also an idea. And also bishop a6 is being prepared. So I thought this move could be easily refuted. And there's nothing I could do about it because I don't know the theory here. So if it's easily refuted, that's fine. I mean, I'll learn something. But I was trying not to talk myself out of good moves just because they might be bad. Even if I don't have a reason why they're bad. I didn't see a reason. So as long as it had a point to it, and I felt like it was, reasonable, and I could explain it, well enough, then I'll just do it. That's what I've kind of been doing in a lot of my games. So he responds with c4, which I thought made sense because I wanted to put my queen on d5, and he said no. Okay, fair enough. And now I have the same problems. If I play bishop a6 now, a3 and my knight is trapped. So I can't exactly do that, and I also don't exactly want to start retreating my knight. Also, it should be noted that bishop a6, a3. Here, knight d5 isn't working because he takes, and he's attacking my queen. Normally, my queen is on e7, so when he takes, I just take his queen. So after bishop a6, my knight would be trapped. So with that in mind, okay, he took away a square from my queen, and my knight is running out of squares. So I thought naturally, queen f5 made sense. I'm targeting a weakness, sort of. This d3 is kind of a big weakness, especially if he wants to develop his bishop. I'm threatening this, and there's also tactics with this. There's just a lot going on here, and I spent a lot of time on queen f5 because, you know, I need a follow-up after bishop h3 or g4, because if I'm not careful, if I do something dumb and I go back knight a3, then my queen is getting trapped by h5. Or at least it's running out of squares. Maybe not with bishop h3 though, because of this square. But queen f5 is actually a decent move. And the funny thing here is, this is a common idea in the Scotch, but this is one of those lines where you kind of have to know the move here with white if you're going to be playing this. And he didn't. So the best move here for white is, and the only move to not be worse, is king d1. I thought after king d1, knight takes a2 might work. But also, it's kind of scary, like he might start kicking my queen around. I don't know if I should be going pawn grabbing, but it looked interesting to me. Of course, because if he takes back, the knight is hanging. I didn't give king d1 too much thought. I thought it was very possible that he would play it, but I also just didn't know what was happening, so I didn't want to spend too much energy on it until it happened. But king d1 is the best move. Knight takes a2 is a move here, but apparently he can just let this happen and go rook a4. And yeah, my queen is just having kind of a hard time. He's gonna play h5. I might have to play h5. It's a common theme in this game is the h5 square. But so white is doing totally fine here, because I'm just underdeveloped. My king's in the center and my queen is misplaced. His king's in the center too, but it's actually relatively safe here. Knight takes a2, bishop h3. How do you not lose a piece? Well, so when I take on c1, I'm attacking his queen. I also didn't know how to evaluate this, but because I don't have any pieces out, his king's already in the center. He has this open file, and it's not super clear where I'm gonna develop my pieces. Although g6 is, I'm developing with tempo. And once I get that momentum going and I catch up on development, I'm probably just better. So, because I'm just up a clear pawn. And I have the bishops. So I just open the center and enjoy a nice advantage. But yeah, after king d1, I probably shouldn't take on i2. It's fine. It's just not really best. See, this, I turned the computer on here, but it's Lee Chess computer, so it's pretty weak, and it's on a low depth. So I wouldn't take anything it says as gospel, but currently it likes bishop b7. Although I just wouldn't analyze this position on Lee Chess. It's just not good enough. Gotta use like chess base or something. So, but he goes for bishop h3, which is actually a pretty bad move, maybe even a blunder. And my initial intention was, I saw this line after bishop h3, it was queen c2, knight a3 is forced, because this is a really big threat. So queen c2, knight a3 takes, or not, sorry, queen c2, knight a3, knight d3, king f1, takes, and then I can take on e5. Okay, so I've won a pawn in that line. And that was my initial intention, but then I talked myself out of it. So I got to this position, and I actually talked myself out of just being up a pawn. I want to know how long I spent here. Yeah, I tried to stop and reevaluate the position, because I was trying to be more practical, because I've been making a lot of mistakes where I go for the most complicated thing, and then I end up wearing myself out and losing because I have no time. And I thought after knight takes e5, he's going to play b3, so I can't double the pawns anymore. And my knight is kind of close to getting trapped with this, but this problem is easily solvable with h5. and I'm just better. It still looks a little uncomfortable in my opinion. I don't know why. Just something about the as we call it, the bishop scissors that will happen. And I feel like I have to be kind of accurate here. But I mean, I just have a clear advantage here. So also d6 is another way to stop this, because I'm just giving my knight another square by trading bishops. So I don't know. I guess that didn't occur to me. But I should do that. My move is second best, but not nearly as big of an advantage. But so I reevaluated the position, and I was like, okay, I could be up a pawn, but he has a lot of development, and my knight is sort of clumsy, and I feel like I have to be pretty accurate there. So I tried to make a more practical decision, and I saw that, okay, I could take on c1 and obtain the bishop pair, and then take on a3, and this pawn structure is just like, white will probably never ever win this, and I'm just super solid there, and I can use the b file, I can play a5, a4, so I decided to do that, but then I had a moment where I was trying to be, even more accurate and pressing. So I played rook b8 first, because he can't play b3 and fix these problems, because I take his knight. So rook c2 is forced, and then I thought, okay, I mean, the knight can't move, so I can take on a3 anytime I want. So I wanted to just prepare d5, because in my head, I was like, after bishop a6, he can't make a square for his knight because I take the pawn, and if he tries to defend the pawn a second way and make a square for the knight, it still won't work because he's still blocking. So to me, I thought I was just restricting his pieces as much as possible, and I was trying to be positional and like trying to play in that style more often now. But the thing is, he could go knight b1, which I just didn't consider at all. And then as soon as he played it, I knew I was probably worse. I don't know. Can't explain that one, but I can just take here, and I'm just I just have like a comfortable advantage. Plays like, I think either of these moves are good. I was expecting rook e1, but in the game he played rook d1 when he was given the choice. So, and yeah, this position is just perfectly fine for me. I'm just never gonna lose this, because this pawn structure is just terrible. And I think I'm the only one with winning chances. So I can make a pass pawn somehow, and I think I'm the only one who has chances here. So I correctly evaluated everything. And also I've been blundering a lot lately. I lost a few really terrible games. I lost a game this weekend where I was up a clear piece against the 1600, and I basically blundered a queen, essentially. It wasn't exact, it was more complicated than that, but it was just ridiculous, So I was told to do blunder checks after every single move, meaning, okay, look at all of the forward moves that your opponent has. So any forward moves, checks, captures, anything like that. And I was doing that after every single move, and it's kind of an exhausting process. It should only take like 10 seconds if you're doing it right, but I think a little bit paranoid about it, so it was taking me a little longer than that. So I was looking at the forward moves after every move, and I was like, okay, he can't go forward. And he went backward, and I'm just like, fuck, I'm just worse. So now it's just a little bit miserable. I have a lot of analysis here that I did with Josh. There's just like tons of it. We were dissecting this position, and it's a lot more miserable than I think it first appears. Because after knight b1, I thought for 10 minutes, because it's just one of those things where, okay, I know I'm just worse now, because he just activates the knight. That was my whole thing, is that his knight is bad. So, it's like his pieces were so fucking stupid that, like, look at his stupid knight and his stupid rook, and his stupid rook is in the way of his stupid knight. His stupid pawn is just pinned, and it's stupid, and I want to play d5, but yeah, then that just fixes everything. It's pretty insane when a retreating move just fixes the position. But, so the problem with something like bishop c5, which is definitely what I'd like to do, is, here's the line that we went down here. So rook d1, this is a problem. And if I do this and I go into this like here, a3 b4 I thought was super fucking annoying. And I don't see how I hang on to this pawn. And my king, this bishop is just a giant pain in the ass. It's just doing a lot. It really needed to be traded off, especially if I, accidentally let him make his knight better. But here's the line that we went down. So I played king f3 to get out of this pin, so that d5 isn't really as strong. And Josh tried this bishop c8, but now it's just irritating. Like, this is just fucking irritating. Even if you try and stop it, there's knight d2, and one of these two moves is coming, and you're gonna have problems with one of those pawns, and it's just gonna fall, and it's just absolutely miserable for black. So that would be one try, but I wasn't seeing how that was going to work because I thought the bishop outside of the pawns is maybe even more clumsy and misplaced. Okay, so instead of bishop c5, maybe I play d5 right away, or d6. We didn't look at this, really? Well, in the game I looked at, this is pretty annoying still, because he's gonna move the king somewhere, and in some order put the rook here. And okay, how do I get my bishop out? It's irritating. If I try this, then there's, well, maybe not that, but like here, and that's a problem. I'd like to go up and go this way, but I can't because of this stupid fucking bishop. And now, maybe just bring the knight in. Yeah, maybe that's simple enough. And my king is in the center, and it's just really, really uncomfortable. So I hated this as well. But other than that, what the fuck am I supposed to do? If I can't break in the center, how am I supposed to develop this piece? How am I supposed to get my rooks active? How am I supposed to get my king in a place that is useful? How am I supposed to defend this pawn? These are all very difficult questions to answer. So after some thought, I decided to make kind of a risky decision. I was like, okay, all that shit looks bad. I'm going to try g6. And g6 is kind of a gamble for me because it looks pretty weakening. But my thinking was, I want to develop with a tempo, at least. Maybe try and force f4, at least make a weakness on g3, get some backwards pawns, and strengthen my control of the light squares, is what I was hoping for. And it takes a long time for the knight to get over here, and even if it does, it can just undermine it with d6. So it's just nothing. However, he simply plays b3, and now bishop g7, hold on, I promoted the wrong line. Yeah, bishop g7 is a mistake here now. d6, it's kind of the same problems, but worse, because I made another weakness. I might just have to do this. That's probably, okay, looking at this is probably about equal, but, maybe the bishops are enough to compensate for my fucked up pawns, maybe. I don't think I should lose this, but it's not fun, so yeah, I'm not sure about this position. But bishop g7 is a mistake now. I spent all my time considering rook e1 because I thought that was the plan. I thought that was a way to defend the pawn in a way that's also doing things. But guess what? He doesn't have to defend this pawn. He doesn't. He just goes here and he attacks my guy. And then I was pretty frustrated because I can't even take this pawn because of bishop takes d7, and I'm losing another guy. This is gross. I mean, I think white is very clearly better. It's just terrible. So I thought I was making a threat, but I was not. So now it's frustrating. I kind of have to start going backwards to defend this stupid pawn that I can never push. That's why I think it's deceiving, because at first it looks fine because you're like, okay, well, I mean, you're just gonna get d5 or d6 in at some point, open everything for your bishops, but how? It's just allowing knight b1 is just so fucking bad. I was doing great. I came up with decent moves in an opening, like with really heavy theory that I knew nothing about, and then I just allowed knight b1. I don't know what causes these type of mistakes. I wasn't being lazy, but I was thinking pretty fucking hard. So I play rook d8, and okay, my rook isn't super useful over here anymore because he played b3, and my bishop isn't super useful anymore because he played b3 as well. And also, I don't know if I pointed this out, but part of the reason I liked bishop g7 is because it would, if he does nothing here, if he didn't play b3 or something, it would make d5 even stronger because then two pawns are being pinned, and so taking here would not be as good, or something. But yeah, so now he's just building up on this pawn here, and I play bishop c8, which I think is kind of the only try. I'm going backwards, but my bishop sucked here, so it's fine. I would love to trade this bishop off for this bishop, because this piece is a god. So now he just defends his pawn, and I'm kind of out of moves. I can't castle because that just hangs the d pawn, and the d6 break is never working again because of bishop c8, and it takes the defender away, and he's just coming in and taking everything. So I kind of assumed that f6 would be my break now. f6 right away is what I should play, but I was very afraid of e6. I don't even really... okay, f5, and this is pretty gross looking. I mean, this is like my best case scenario, and it's still so ugly. So, no, f5 is the best move, but yeah, I'm just gonna end up with the shitty pawn structure and no piece activity. So, it just sucks. So I thought I had to prepare f6, so I played king a7, and my thinking was that if he gets the knight here, I would like to be able to play d5 and be forking these two pieces in a way that doesn't give him any intermezzos. So basically trying to get d5 in still without allowing him to take, because I'd like a pin here on the knight, and not allowing this because of d5 with a fork. But it just doesn't work. He can just play knight c3 here, and I just don't have time for anything. After knight e4, is that what I did here? Oh, I played f6 first. Yeah, because if I play rook e8 right away, then there's, it's a lot harder to get f6 in. So I have to play f6 right away. And I took with the bishop because if he's taking this, then I'm actually starting to feel a little bit more relaxed. And right now I'm kind of threatening d5, I think, because okay, if white does nothing, or king f8 is also a big threat. Yeah, If he does something dumb though, like this or this, I think d5. It's got to be good at some point. I just have this feeling that it's got to be good at some point. The frustrating thing is the reason I can't play d5 right away when he goes here is because in this line, which initially looked okay to me because I got this passed pawn, he just goes back to h3 and this pawn is going to be scooped up. I can't defend it. Again, maybe this is what I should go for. It's opposite colored bishops, so I do have pretty strong drawing chances, but I don't know. I feel like it's kind of easy for him to make a passed pawn over here, maybe, or I don't know. I'm not sure. Maybe this is an equal position. It looked stinky, though. Maybe I play c5, just so he can't take any of my pawns. It's like sometimes a way to win opposite colored bishop, or draw opposite colored bishops. And do this. I don't know what the winning plan here is for white. It's like maybe I play a5, trying to freeze activity. But this is happening, so I don't know. It looks tough. This might be like a whole interesting endgame to study just by itself, but I just wasn't so sure about that. Maybe I should go for this. But bishop d4, e3. Okay, well, I mean, I take here. I just go back and then, or maybe I try this and then this, and then you have to get off that diagonal, and you can't play c5 to prevent it, because then, or why can't you? Maybe you have to go bishop c5 right away to avoid this. I'm just gonna turn on the engine in a minute. It says plus 1.3, which, isn't always enough to win, so I still don't really know, but maybe black can hold. I don't know. So I talked myself out of d5, but I probably should have done it. So this is like the second time I talked myself out of something good. I assume maybe he has something else. But yeah, maybe he just plays bishop b7 here. He keeps the rooks on. That's probably what he does. It's probably pretty annoying. But okay, I went rook e8 here. And in the case of something like this happening, I want to be able to play bishop g4 at the end. But that's why he plays king f3. Now I don't ever have even that, so it just sucks. I try for a while still though. Wait, am I getting the moves wrong again? I'm just gonna check the logs here. Key 8. Oh, I think that no, I didn't finish putting the game in because Josh was so mad at my position, and so frustrated with it that he's like, I don't want to look at this anymore. I don't want to look at your stupid fucking pieces anymore. He said it makes him so mad when his pieces don't work well together, which it never happens to him. So he hated it. So we'll finish putting this in. Something very sad happened. Yeah, and now at least he can't ever take this because this would be annoying for him. And I get this open file, and I mean I'm doing just fine here. I think this is very equal. So that's an irritating problem for him. But he does this really fucking annoying little maneuver. He plays rook d3, and I just didn't know what to do. I thought any pawn move was too weakening, and I can't retreat the bishop because of this. And I felt like I was sort of in zugzwang, and I also didn't know if h5 was going to be helpful in the long run or not. But I am kind of in zugzwang if I don't play the best move, which I did not. To me, h5 just felt kind of committal. Wasn't a really big fan of it, but it's what I should do. I didn't have a concrete reason why I didn't like it. It just felt... I just have kind of PTSD with pushing my pawns too far in the endgame and making too many weaknesses. c5 bishop d4 is an idea I have a lot of the time. But since he's trying to put his d rook here, I don't need to play c5 because if he puts this rook here, I just do it anyway. So I felt c5 was unnecessary. And also it's making a big weakness that eventually a knight can hop onto, and I don't know why I would allow that if I don't have to. So I thought c5 in the future maybe, but here c5, I just didn't like it. I played h6. And my idea was that I want to actually save the bishop, and my thinking was that eventually it might become the better piece if I limit this knight enough and I'm able to double the rooks. So I was thinking if he doesn't take here right now, then I'm gonna play bishop g7. And yeah, again, he can't go here, and this doesn't really help. Maybe just a5, but he played, or maybe he did do that actually. Yeah, he did. And I played bishop g7. And at this point, I was kind of feeling like I was defending this. I don't know. If I can keep some sort of imbalance that is favorable for me, I think I can maybe defend. Especially if I trade the rooks, I was thinking. I don't know if that's accurate. I haven't gotten to the rook and pawn endgame section of my book yet, which is like, its own rook and pawn endgames. It's like its own game inside of chess. So, but after rook g7, it kind of allows g4. And that freaked me out a little bit. And then I made a one-move blunder. But this position, I still don't know how I feel about it. I went under 10 minutes, and I played this, which just instantly hangs that, which was irritating, because I was blunder checking, and I was trying to look at all the forward moves, but I didn't look at that one. So I just hung this. But if I just do something simple like a5, I'm just not understanding the break. Because if he ever pushes this pawn, I mean, I think that's just bad. But his knight doesn't have any particularly good outposts. And my bishop has been bad the whole game, but it kind of controls a lot of important squares. And I can maybe draw up some counterplay of my own now. And maybe put the bishop here, maybe get this. I don't really know, but... I'm gonna be really hesitant to ever play c5 because not only is that giving up the d5 square, but it's also saying that I never want to make a pass pawn. I mean, I guess I could play c6 d5, but I don't know. Let's check our friend the engine here. So yeah, it's very close to equal. White is slightly better. It likes knight g3. It's what's the threat? The threat is... Oh, so we can take with the knight. I'm stupid. Okay. Okay. So I'm gonna trade a pair of rooks, and then I'm gonna play a4, and then if here, and I assume he takes that way. I don't know why you would take with the rook. I mean, the computer likes both. I guess so he has an outside pass pawn. It makes some sense. I feel like he would do this, though. If I let him take my bishop, I think it's pretty miserable. So I have to do something. And yeah, I don't know. I just don't think I'd ever like playing c5. It would be nice if I could and get c6 in. But I spent all this time doing this, and that could weaken the d pawn, and then this is essentially in a pin, and I can do this shit. It's like not good. So I think this is kind of a bad bishop versus good knight scenario. After king e6, rook takes g7. What are we talking about? Oh, you're confused about rook takes d6. Oh. Yeah, so rook takes d6, rook takes e4 here, and I'm losing one of these pawns. It's just his rook just gets behind my pawns. So this is what happened in the game, and it's just dead lost here. There's no point in looking at this. It's just sad. But I think the endgame that could have happened was pretty fucking interesting. What were we saying here? What move did we like here? A5? Yeah, I think we liked A5 here. So, Yeah, okay, wait, you can't do that. That's just stupid, but I don't know. This endgame is very difficult. I think it's just equal, looking at it. Of course I like white, but I don't think that white can actually win this. So, I can go down a computer line, maybe. See how it feels. Yeah, there's always this undermining shit, so it's even harder to get c6 in to prevent the knight from getting in. But, okay, I activate my guy. Really? I'm just gonna let him do that? So if takes, this is equal? My king is just perfectly placed for this, because he can't ever, you know, make progress this way. If he kicks my king out, then he's just taking that square away from his own king. It's just very convenient the way everything's set up. He can't go around this way either. So this is equal. Okay, sure. Yeah, I'm so sick of blundering though. Like, I'm doing so many tactics that I still fall for such stupid tactics. I think it's at least comforting that I'm thinking about the right things, even though I make the wrong decision every time. I'm still assessing things correctly. Sometimes I just talk myself out of what I want to do. So I don't know. I don't really know what to say about this game. It was just really difficult after Knight B1. Which book? What's it called? Chess Endgame Training? Rosen? Not Eric Rosen. It's a really good book, but I also have like 3 other endgame books I'm going through. I'm also going through 100 endgames you must know, and just endgame manual, something or other. They put the rook and pawn endgames at the end. So maybe I should just skip ahead. Yeah, I feel like I am learning. I think, I don't know. I gotta start with the basics. Take the bishop in between and allow bishop takes a2. I don't know what we're talking about. I'm gonna keep it real. Anyway, I don't know. I think I'm on the verge of a breakthrough, to be honest. I think I'm losing a lot of rating points. But the games that I'm losing, the quality of the games isn't that bad, and I'm playing quite well, and I'm having the right ideas. I've made like 4 one-move blunders against lower-rated players recently, because I just get kind of exhausted thinking about everything, and eventually I make a mistake because I'm just tired. But the more I study, the less I'll have to just exert ridiculous amounts of energy over the board, so it'll be easier. But yeah, I'm just like working everything out in my head lately, and I'm hoping eventually it'll click and it won't be so difficult, but I think I'm on the right track, at least. Anyway. Bye, YouTube. I'm gonna stop recording now.